everyone. Thank you for being here for our third ScanPro webinar in the series where Imaging Office Systems brings to you different ways that you can use a ScanPro and complete that digital transformation and remote work from any location. My name is Ben Reisinger. I'm the Director of Marketing and Public Relations, and thank you for being with us today. Today's presentation will be by, Bill Stewart, who is an expert in the field, been with selling ScanPro for many, many years, and he will share his screen now, and we will take any questions afterwards via the chat box. Thank you very much, and Bill, to you, sir.
Okay, thanks, Ben. So I'm going to bring up my screen here. So first of all, welcome everybody and thanks for attending today's virtual demo. We're adhering to Governor Pritzker's stay-at-home order by demonstrating the ScanPro virtually today. I'm going to be driving it, and to be clear, Imaging Office Systems is the distributor of the ScanPro in Illinois and 3 other Midwestern states. Okay, we'll take questions at the end of this demo, and one lucky person will win a $100 Visa card for attending today's webinar. Specifically, we're going to talk about police records, okay? Many police departments have incident reports and case files on microfilm. A lot of these reports can be non-expiring incident reports, such as first, second-degree murder, sexual assault, and things like that that need to be kept forever, okay? So I'm going to be using a ScanPro 3000 all-in-one for the demonstration, which has an auto carrier with it. So the ScanPro is available in 3 different models, a 2200, a 3000, and the i9300. All of these models look the same. The difference is actually in the camera and in the software. The all-in-one versions have the auto carrier on them, and they enable you to scan up to 100 images per minute. Okay, so we have a number of police departments in the Chicagoland and Illinois area using the ScanPro, such as West Chicago, Rolling Meadows, St. Charles, and Waukegan. So let's get started. So you'll notice the email that Ben sent you, there was a picture of the ScanPro on it. So basically it's about the size of a laptop, okay? A lot smaller than your old side-by-side refrigerator reader printer, okay? Now it uses LED lights, okay? There's no bulbs in here to burn out or replace. And it doesn't require a special printer. It can print to any make or model of printer that's attached or on your network. So you've got that covered. There's only one lens, so there's no need to change lenses for film or feature aperture cards. And it uses a standard non-dedicated Windows PC. So there's no integrated monitor. And I'm looking at, I've basically got a Dell Windows PC here, and I've got a 26-inch flat screen monitor. So let's get going. So when you boot up the ScanPro, the first thing that you see is the film selection wizard, okay? So the ScanPro handles a lot of different types of microfilm and microfiche. So typically what we see in a police department is 16mm film, and that quite often is duplex, regular 16mm. We've got libraries that use 35mm, the 3M cartridge and there's variations of fiche. So I already have my film loaded up on it, but so the first thing I'm going to do is select my, I'm going to click on that. And it brings the carrier out. And in a second here, you will see the film winding wizard wind up here, and it will show you how to load the film. So here's my little diagram. You can see the film goes clockwise, goes underneath the first roller, underneath the glass, down around the second roller, and then it basically gets hooked onto the take-up spool. So it's pretty simple to put on. So once I've got that on, the next thing that I like to do is advance the film. So you'll notice there's a double arrow down here that I can advance the film with. And I'll just watch it to make sure the images appear on the film so that the leader's gone. And then because I have this auto carrier, I'm going to click load. Okay, so here are my images already loaded up and ready to go. So let's start off with the toolbars. So up top, I have a toolbar for home, adjust, output, and setup. So these are 4 different tabs I have, and you'll notice that there's buttons. Okay, so these buttons give the functionality to the ScanPro, and they just make it really easy to use. Okay, so we can put the buttons in different orders. We can put them on different tabs. We can have all different ones. We can have them all the same. So typically what I like to do is put the main buttons that I'm going to use on the home tab so that I don't have to look around for it, things like that. So we'll go through, I'll show you those buttons and what they do. And then as far as advancing the film goes, okay, so it can be done about 4 different ways. When I loaded the film up and I advanced it, I used the double arrow. And you can see that quickly advances it and goes forward and back. But there's 3 other ways that you can do this as well. So you'll notice there's a little slide bar here. If I left click on the slide bar and drag it forward, it goes by slowly. The farther right I go, the faster it goes. Of course, I can go in reverse too. I can drop back that way. Same idea. A third way is basically just using the previous and next button. And if I click on forward, it advances 1 image. If I double click, it advances 2 images. We can go the reverse as well. So that's basically 3 ways to do it. And the last way is just on your keyboard with your arrows button. So if I press my forward arrow button, I'm just advancing it easily that way. So this is basically the way you could advance it. And as far as viewing it goes, we can do a fit to width type of view as well if we want to see and get rid of this gray area over here. So here you go, and I just clicked on it, and it automatically expands the screen. So it's a matter of preference on how you want to do this. If I click back on that, it brings it back to where we were. Okay, so let's keep going. You'll notice here that there's also a green box around it. So everything in that green box is actually captured or saved or printed. And you'll also notice that there's some numbers here as well. And that gives me basically the size of the print. Okay? So if we want to use a magnifier, of the zoom button, I mean, we can zoom up and we can zoom down. And all I do is do a left click to zoom in like that. You can see it stays in focus, and that's my image right there that I can look at. If I go back the other way, the down arrow zooms right back out again. So beside this one, I also have a little magnifier. Okay, if I click on the magnifier glass, it brings up a little box here. I'll throw that over on the right here, and this is what I'm looking at right in here. So we can use this without needing to use the zoom button and zoom in and out. So we can just use our magnifier, and it comes in very handy if I want to find small information, if I want to look at signatures, if I want to clean things up and things like that. So it's a very handy little tool to have. Next, going down the line here, we've got a brightness button, a contrast button, and an auto crop, and a manual straight. So you'll notice with the brightness button, it has a number here, 65. It has an AB for auto brightness and an up and a down arrow. So watch when I decrease the brightness of the image. So it goes down to 59, and it's quite a bit darker. And you can see the darkness come up here in the image in the magnifier glass. The same thing with our contrast. The contrast goes up and down that way as well. So the contrast basically cleans up the background. It goes up in increments of 5. And the higher I go, the more it cleans up the background and wipes it out, as this is done. So moving forward, we've got an auto crop button. So you'll notice that the green box isn't exactly right on the image. If I click on that, it automatically crops it really tight, and now I can save it, print it, and do whatever I like. There's also the straighten button. The plus goes to the right, the minus goes to the left. If I left click and hold, I can sort of de-skew it like that, and now it's out of whack. And sometimes we find that images on the film aren't always particularly straight, so this is a handy thing to have. There is also an auto straighten button over here as well, which will do the same thing with one click. So the next button we have here is called like the magic button, and it does 4 things automatically. It brightens, it also affects the contrast, it also deskews and crops it. So if I click on this one button like this, watch what happens, straighten it up, cropped it, and now the brightness is set at 66, the contrast is set down here. We can still do fine tuning to it just by clicking on it, and away we go. So that's a really unique part of the ScanPro and very helpful. Sometimes we just go to that. So quite often with incident reports, there may be information on it that's requested from the state's attorney, from whatever attorney it is, that has confidential information such as a social security number, a date of birth, minor information on it. So this spot edit button allows you to redact that information out. So let's just say we'll do a little bit of a zoom in here. And let's say I wanted to redact this information over here. And I will grab it. Just a second. Click on the pencil. Draw the box. Double click. And now we have the choice of white or black redaction. Typically, we recommend black because using something like Adobe Acrobat Reader, you can't overwrite it. And we can send this image off with that information captured, and it doesn't affect the original image here at all. So that's how that works. Now, when I want to get rid of this, this is bolded as well. So I just click on the X, and now it goes away. So also in the event that some of this information is very faint, because as we all know that microfilm records aren't perfect, the image quality is dependent upon how good the original was, how good it was filmed, and now how good the film is. So in some instances, it's lighter up at the top, dark at the bottom. We can actually go in here and brighten up or darken sections of it without affecting the rest of it. Now you'll notice my brightness and contrast buttons are active. I can come in here and I can brighten it up like this. And that only affects the information that's in the box here as well, the purple box. And at this point, I could actually save the information or print it. So we'd be done with it at that point, then we can basically get rid of it that way. So you'll notice every time I put my cursor on a button, there's some context-sensitive help information that comes up. So it's a reminder of exactly what it does and how, if you forget, how you can work this. But you'll also notice there's a help button over here. If I click on this help button and then I go over here and click on the spot edit button, it brings up the onboard help menu. And you get information on in more detail how this particular feature will work for you. So very handy to have. So moving on, we've got the scan mode. Okay, you'll notice there's 3 scan modes. There's the enhanced grayscale, the grayscale, and the black and white. So in certain situations, maybe you don't want to use the enhanced grayscale because of the file size. It's quite a bit larger. So we can toggle through this and go to the black and white or bitonal, and you'll see the difference right away. So you can even see here in my magnifying box that this image still turns out pretty good. And the file size is going to be less than half of what the image would be like. So it's very cool and a very useful thing to have. And sometimes that's all we need. If you've got pictures and maybe the image isn't very good, then we can finally go ahead and just use the enhanced grayscale. Okay, so I'm going to zoom back down a little bit here. And so I can get a full image so you can see what it looks like. So let's say that I want to crop an image here. I'm going to automatically do that. And I want to save the next 2 incident files, reports. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to scan. It says to drive 1, and it's going to say, okay, what do you want to name it? Let's say it's incident report number 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and I want to save this as a multi-page PDF. Okay, and you'll see here I've got JPEGs, options, PNGs, PDFs, TIFF images, but there's also a single-page PDF, and there's also a multi-page PDF that we can use as well. So let's select the multi-page PDF, and we're going to go, let's save this image. Okay, little window pops up, and it says, okay, I've already saved 1 image. Do you want to keep going and add more? And I'm going to say yes. So the easiest way to do that is to click on the next image here, over here, and let's go add it to that one. Now you notice our scan count has already gone up again. So let's do another one. So we're on the 3rd image now. We're going to add a scan to that. So now our image count is 2. So let's say I'm done at this point, and I want to show and take a look at what I've done here. So I'm going to say finish and open. So remember, I created these as PDFs. So here's my 3 PDFs that I've saved. Pretty simple to do, and good quality images. I'm going to close that back out again. So let's say also that we wanted maybe this incident file, the case file, is 10 images. Well, there's an even better way to do that as well. So what we can do with that is we can use our ScanPro. And this works in conjunction with the auto carrier. So when I click on the ScanPro, it brings up a window, and it says, okay, where do you want to save this? What do you want to call it? Let's call it case 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then how many scans do I want? I've got that number right up in here, and I can say, let's do 8 scans, and we're going to create a multi-page PDF. Again, it could be a TIFF image or whatever. If you want to save this to a case management type of system or a product like FileBound or Laserfiche, you can save it as a TIFF image as well. So, and I can go forward and back. So let's say I want to do the 8 images, and all I have to do now is hit scan, and you can see these pop up in the window. So we're running at about 100. It says basically 91.8 images per minute. So this is really fast. And let's go just take a look at what we did there and see what those images look like. So here's case 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we've got, you can see we've got 8 images here, and we'll just fly through those. We got great quality images. We picked off 8, no problem, easy peasy. Close this again as well. So this enables you to digitize large case files, large incident reports, or even if you want, you could do entire rolls of film. So there's no other product on the marketplace in this price range that does this type of scanning. So it's very helpful for police departments that want to digitize case files, incident reports, state's attorneys, and also court clerks. Okay. So if I did want to scan this particular image, let's crop one up. And let's say I had a request that came in from the state's attorney's office, and they're requesting it's just the one image here. I can actually scan it to email. So when I click on this button, what you're going to see, it's going to capture it. It's going to say, what do you want to call it? I'm just going to call it the email case. Okay, we can save it as a PDF. We could save it as other things. And we can, there's our other PDFs, multi-page PDFs, single-page PDFs, things like that. Let's do a save. Okay. And it will launch Outlook in the background. We'll get rid of this, get rid of that. And you can see here's my, I can put my name in here, Bill Stewart. I can email it off. I can say it's the case file that you requested, and then basically just send it, and away we go. So this is the image that we captured. So it's a really like a two-step process, and it makes it very easy to do this rather than scanning to print to capturing to attaching to email. So a really simple thing to do. Okay. So let's look at a couple other things on on the Adjust tab here. We can actually rotate images left and right. So in the event that they're on the film, some may be landscape, maybe portrait, they weren't scanned properly, upside down. So all we are doing is moving that image. I'm not touching the carrier at all. I'm not doing anything else with it manually. This is all done through the software. We can do mirror images as well. That does not happen very often on roll film. It does happen on fiche. People put it in upside down and backwards, so we reverse it that way. We can actually change the focus, and if we don't think it's focused properly, I can do some manual adjustments here. The film type is just basically positive, negative. So we're on some negative film. If I click through this, you're going to see there's three options. There's positive, negative, and then there's an opaque. Okay, we obviously don't have opaques for police departments. I'll click one more time. It goes completely black, and then we'll get back to our negative image. Okay, the film orientation, that enables you, film can be stored, images can be stored on film in a cinema mode, and it will actually flip it around from a comic mode to a cinema mode. So typically the images can run north or south or east and west. So if you have film that has variations on it, it'll fix that right away. Already talked about the auto straighten button. It's just a simple thing. It clicks it and away we go. Now, the ScanPro 3000, we can also scan to up to 3 different printers and 3 different drives. So it gives you a lot of flexibility in the event that maybe some of these documents are legal size documents. So you've got a printer set up that does legal and one that does letter. So you can do things like that. We have building departments and places like that that have engineering drawings, so they can actually just ship it over and print it on an E-size drawing in a wide format printer and things like that. So that's pretty simple to do. Then last is just our setup. So we can save our settings, we can restore settings, and this is just the help button. And if I want to get into changing the buttons and how they look and the order that they're in and things like that, we can just click on the setup button and away we go. So those are the main things that I wanted to show you. And just to do a bit of a wrap up, the warranty that comes with this product is fantastic. It's 36 months. It's a factory warranty on parts and labor. So in the event that anything goes wrong with this, okay, you can contact the factory. They will remote in and they will fix it right there and then. If that doesn't work, it can be shipped to the factory at no charge and fixed there and then returned. I talked a little bit about those LED lights. Those are guaranteed for 12 years. So again, they last a really long time. And also, once you purchase the ScanPro, you get a lifetime upgrade on the PowerScan software. And basically, all that's done, the way you do that is you go to the e-image data. They're the manufacturer. You go to their website support. You put in your name. You put in the model number. And when there's an upgrade, it will let you know. Okay? You don't have to do the upgrade if it has some nice features in it. That I would definitely recommend doing the upgrade on it. So then just to wrap up, from a benefit point of view for police departments, basically this is very compact. The ScanPro, it fits almost anywhere. As you can see, it's really intuitive and easy to use. We have a lot of public libraries that use ScanPros. People walk in off the street, they're seniors, they don't have a lot of experience with PCs, they find this really easy to use. Okay, and along that line, with 1 or 2 keystrokes, you can save, you can print, you can do auto adjust brightness, contrast, cropping, and things like that. So it's really quick. The spot edit feature, again, simple to use. We can do redactions with that to take out information, personal information. We can also change the darkness and the brightness on certain parts of the image. So ScanPros come with a 6.6 or a 26 megapixel camera and the largest image sensor on the market. So this gives you fantastic image quality that you can adjust on the fly. Okay. We can also easily save multi-page incident reports, case files as PDFs or multi-page TIFF images, save them to a Windows folder, a document management system like a FileBound, or if you're using LaserSeek, there's no need to print, no need to scan the images to save it electronically. And then just lastly, imaging office systems, we do the installation on site, we provide the training, we support your ScanPro, and we even do 2 on-site training sessions for your staff. So that pretty well covers what I wanted to talk about. If there's any questions, Ben, let's do that right now.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. So you did talk about this. This is a question. But, you know, in your experience, how easy is it to train someone, you know, in a police department to use the ScanPro? And how can we do this right now if someone's interested?
So to answer your first question, the training, it takes about an hour to go through it. And part of that training involves, what I'll do is I'll go through the basic buttons and features with everybody. We'll use your film and your fiche to do this. We provide the hands-on part of it, okay? And if there's some buttons and things up here that you don't want to use with the factory default, we'll change those around and I'll show you how to do that yourself, okay? So once we've done that, I leave you alone for 2 weeks, and then I'll call you back and say, how's it going? If I don't hear from you, do you have any questions? Do you need any more on-site training? And if you do, I'm happy to come out there and we'll sit down for another hour and work with you on this. So in a lot of cases, people don't have questions until they actually start playing with it, and then they have some, they want to know how to do certain things. So that's how that works, okay? So
Sure.
as far as getting going with these, it's pretty simple. You would contact Imaging Office Systems, and what we want to do is gather some information about your requirements, and such as, do you have film, do you have fiche only, do you have both, do you need the auto carrier, do you want to be able to scan entire rolls of film and stuff like that. And what we'll do is we'll gather those requirements and we'll be able to give you a code for the right product. And we will even come out and demonstrate this to you using your own film or fiche, so you get a really good feel for how it's going to work. So based on that, the demonstration, it's simply place an order with Imaging Office Systems, and probably it's usually after the order is placed within about up to 5 business days, the unit will get shipped right to your department. You let us know when you're ready, we come out, we set it up, we train you, and you're done.
Wonderful. Thank you. Another question, how portable, you said this is about the size of a laptop. How portable is the ScanPro? Like, does this sit in a certain place within a department, or if different people are using it, can it go to different desks? How does that work?
Yeah, Ben, most of the time it's going to stay in place. It is portable in the sense that, you know, when we go out and do demos and stuff like that, we pick it up, it weighs around 30 pounds. We put it in a case and we move it. But with most users, it stays in one place and it's connected to a PC which has the software running on it, okay? So what happens is other departments will come to this particular ScanPro and they will use it. And we may have profiles set up just for them. So if it's an engineering department, if it's the building department, if it's the clerk's department, quite often you saw those wizards come up here. So we'll have that set up for them so that it's ready for their film or their fiche or both of the above.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you very much. I think that concludes our questions for today. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. For more information, please go to imagingoffice.com. And thank you, Bill, for presenting on the ScanPro.
You're welcome. Take care.
All right. Have a good day, everybody. Thank you.